Welcome to another edition of our local newscast. Today, we're going to see some experiences and opinions of many people around the world about the lowering of the restrictions against COVID-19 that our world is currently facing. We'll have four special guests today, so let's start with guest number 1, Juanísimo de la Plata. Juanísimo is currently living here in the US. And Juanísimo, what did you do when you saw that the restrictions of the pandemic had dropped unbelievable? Please tell us.
Yeah, I remember the first thing I did after the pandemic was look for tickets to be able to go to Spain, since it was a country that I was facing and also is where I was born. It was very difficult as there were hardly any flights, but I never gave up. When I arrived in the country, I couldn't find the hotel where I was going to stay, so I decided to ask around to see if anyone knew where it was. After a while, someone managed to help me and arrive at my hotel. When I entered to my room, I took out my laptop and I had to finish some work, but when I searched for my work, I saw that I had not made the backup and I had lost all my work. To this stress, I decided to go a restaurant to eat something while I was thinking how I would solve the problem. When I was going to leave to the restaurant, I saw a friend who had not looked for a long time, and I greeted him and was talking for a while and decided to ask him out so that on days let's meet again. After thinking about it a lot, I decided to back off that I was going to do the job again since I had time to deliver, and little else happened to me that I can't tell you on my trip after the pandemic.
Wow, what a great experience you just told us about, and very interesting. Now, bring over our second guest today, which is Giovanni. He's currently living in France. Giovanni, could you tell us your opinion or experience that you have when you saw one of the first cases of COVID-19? We'll listen to you.
Sure, when the first case of COVID was confirmed, I was at a friend's house. The next day, I went to the supermarket to buy enough food and supplies for about a month, for me and my family to keep on quarantine. The positive of the pandemic is that it allows us to do activities that we like and we have not been able to do. In my case, I had an online course on programming and digital marketing because this can become useful for my daily work here in France.
Very interesting, and yes, we must always see the positive in every situation. As he said, he'll deal with the time in quarantine and he made it worthwhile. Alright, now, our third guest is Pepito La Capilla, a very interesting name, who currently lives in Costa Rica. Welcome, Pepito, and please give us your opinion about the COVID-19.
Hello, I am Pepito from the Capilla, and this is my opinion about the prevention of COVID. Well, I get through a few preventive measures that are currently going on. I have asked what the preventive measures are. I have realized that these restrictions are not enough, so I decided to investigate and check out the prevention measures and can end up on the conclusion that prevention and measures are not even enough to keep anyone to this virus. Also, this means that we need to implement and get into more controls in the order to prevent more COVID cases.
I totally agree with you, and it is very true. We must always carry on the same precautions so the virus doesn't spread more easily. Okay, now to continue with today's segment, and one last participation. Our final guest is Olivia, and she currently resides in England. Olivia, tell us about your experience with the new and lower restrictions and what you did.
Sure, I was working a lot in those days because we were having some troubles with a business partner. So when the restrictions were removed, my boss sent me to a business trip to London. Then I bought my ticket and got on the bus. The road was about 6 hours, so I slept for a while, and when I woke up, I saw that the driver turned around left towards the sign that said Cambridge, and I got off the bus quickly because that wasn't the city that I had to visit. I was walking until I found a kind woman that took me to the bus station so I could take another bus, but before she left me, we ate out because we were having hungry. Then I took the correct bus to London, and when I arrived, I checked in into my hotel. The next day, I had a meeting with a business partner and we closed down until. When I finished my work in London, I bought a ticket to visit my family in Argentina for a week. Then I came back to England and went back to my work. And that's what I did in the first day after the restrictions were removed.
Wow, very interesting to hear your experience with these new restrictions, Olivia. And as you can see, we had a lot of participation from many people around the world about COVID-19. And that's it. Don't forget to check out tomorrow for a new segment. And have an excellent day. Bye!